we didn't pay for Coyote Pass all equally. I paid for an entire lot all by myself, at least 92% of it.
Janelle and Mary Brown just scored the biggest victory we've seen on Sister Wives in years. Against all odds, and certainly against Cody and Robin's wishes, these two have walked away with a financial windfall that no one thought they'd ever see. After months of rumors about Cody and Robin's attempts to secure everything for themselves, the shockwaves are rippling through the entire Brown clan. The message couldn't be clearer. Janelle and Mary aren't anyone's doormat, and their unified stand has put Cody and Robin's grand plans on ice.
There's no protection, Mary, especially for you. You're on one piece. You would get a third. In technicality, you get a third of one of those pieces. And that's not fair, right?
No.
Because we paid for the land out of the family account.
We all paid for it equally.
If you ever doubted that the sister wives could win against the so-called favorite couple, well, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Because here we are with brand new documents, legal developments, and the word lawsuit floating around, confirming that Janelle and Mary just shattered Cody and Robin's grip on the family finances. Observers who've been watching from day one will recall how Janelle and Mary poured significant money and effort into property investments, especially the infamous Coyote Pass. Yet for years, rumor had it that Cody and Robin were dragging their feet, refusing to finalize deals, and basically leaving Janelle and Mary in the lurch. Some even claimed that Cody had zero intention of ever dividing those assets fairly.
Oh, did you have this plan ahead of time when we decided to do a legal divorce back in 2014?
So how did we end up at a point where Janelle and Mary suddenly hold the winning ticket, forcing Cody and Robin to cough up what's rightfully theirs? It turns out that a potent cocktail of legal threats, outside attorneys, and plain old determination carried Janelle and Mary across the finish line. Word on the street is that this deal took ages to hammer out behind the scenes. People saw a swirl of speculation about who owned which plots of land, whose name was on which deed, and whether the money for Coyote Pass came from combined family funds or just from Cody and Robin's pockets. Suddenly, the whole question of family finances erupted into an all-out standoff, with Cody at the center and Robin backing him up like a fortress. But as of now, the official record shows that Janelle and Mary each get a massive chunk of property value, a direct, tangible payout. No matter how you spin it, that's a big, big blow to Cody's claims that he and Robin were automatically entitled to the lion's share. For those new to the chaos, Coyote Pass has long been a flashpoint in Sister Wives lore. The original plan was to create a communal compound, complete with separate homes on this scenic piece of land near Flagstaff, Arizona. Cody sold this idea as a dream scenario where each wife would have her own space, yet they'd all remain a single, unified family. Nobody anticipated that the family would fracture so drastically. But after the splits and tension between the wives, the question became, who actually owns Coyote Pass? And what's each person owed now that the marriages have fallen apart?
I'm going to suggest to you that you protect your interest in it as far as what you're entitled to, a quarter of it.
Cody seemed to cling to Coyote Pass and even hinted that he might only allow Janelle or Mary to buy him out on his terms. The storyline dragged on as Mary grew increasingly distant, and Janelle fought tooth and nail for what she called her rightful equity. Meanwhile, Robin, widely seen as Cody's favorite, joined him in what many perceived as a stonewalling campaign, stalling any official transfer or sale. The notion that Janelle and Mary had poured thousands upon thousands into this dream, only to be overshadowed, became a major point of friction. But behind closed doors, Janelle and Mary were quietly preparing for a fight. The real turning point, sources say, came when both decided to consult attorneys. All those bank statements, property documents, and deposit slips, painstakingly collected and organized, were the evidence needed to show that Coyote Pass wasn't merely Cody's property, but an asset funded by the entire family. That included Janelle's earnings, Mary's contributions, and even show-related funds that the group had pooled together. If Cody wanted to pretend that he and Robin were the sole stakeholders, he had another thing coming. Allegedly, Janelle had the most detailed proof. For years, she managed family finances, or was at least deeply involved, so she had full knowledge of how money from the TLC show was divvied up. We're talking detailed spreadsheets, canceled checks, anything that confirmed every wife contributed to the Coyote Pass plan. Once her attorney had that stack of receipts, the conversation shifted dramatically. Cody could posture all he liked, but legally, the finances left a paper trail. He might have thought that holding the official deed gave him more leverage. But that argument crumbled once a lawyer pointed out that the property was purchased, in large part, from a communal pot. Apparently, around late last year, everything started snowballing. Cody and Robin, who had up until then refused to partition Coyote Pass, were faced with a negotiate or go to court ultimatum. That's right, Janelle and Mary basically said, sign off on a fair deal or we'll let a judge settle it. Seeing no easy way out, Cody realized the stalling game was over.
We bought these 4 lots when we moved here to Flagstaff at Coyote Pass with the intention of dividing them up into 5 pieces of property.
The big question is, what changed in the background to tilt the scale so heavily toward Janelle and Mary? Speculation runs wild. Some watchers think Cody and Robin's finances took a hit once the Brown family's public image went sour and certain revenue streams dried up. They also spent heavily on a pricey home, fueling rumors they might not have had the spare cash to keep the property afloat. If Janelle and Mary forced a sale or demanded a payout, Cody and Robin simply couldn't hold them off. Another angle is that Cody recognized he'd be humiliated in court. The optics of trying to cheat 2 ex-wives out of property rights, especially after all the sister wives drama, wouldn't do him any favors, either publicly or legally. Then there's Mary, who for a long time seemed content to stay in the background. Fans sometimes questioned her motivation and wondered if she was too emotionally attached to let go of the family. However, once her relationship with Cody effectively disintegrated, Mary apparently realized she had nothing left to lose. She stepped up and aligned with Janelle's demands. The threat of a united front, 2 wives pushing for legal recourse, had to strike fear into Cody's heart. After all, Christine is gone, Janelle is gone, Mary is functionally gone, and the public has seen the Brown family unravel in real time.
I don't think that they're going to screw us over.
I don't necessarily believe that.
At first, it looked like Cody might wiggle out of paying any significant amount, but no. The official record, as in legal documents from the county, shows that property deeds were re-registered to include Janelle and Mary with a new, more equitable ownership split. Some parcels that were exclusively in Cody's or Robin's name are now also in Janelle and Mary's. It might read like a labyrinth of real estate maneuvering, but the bottom line is simple. Janelle and Mary each have a 25% interest in specific plots, meaning they're no longer stuck trusting that Cody will do right by them. They actually have legal claims. That alone is a colossal blow to the narrative Cody and Robin tried to spin. This idea that Coyote Pass belonged to them, or at least they had the final say. Now that official channels list Janelle and Mary's names, no one can legally push them out. The question is, do they plan to sell their portions on the open market? Do they want a buyout, or are they looking to put the entire swath of land up for sale so everyone walks away with a clean break? For a while, rumor had it that the property wasn't all that easy to develop. We heard about building restrictions, tricky covenants, and the potential for a big headache if anyone tried to put up multiple houses. If that's the case, Coyote Pass might be more of a white elephant than a dream plot, unless they offload it quickly. Naturally, fans wonder what role Christine played in all this. Though she relinquished her share of Coyote Pass to Cody and Robin at one point, reportedly in exchange for the equity in her own home, Christine's departure rattled the entire dynamic. Some believe that seeing Christine leave successfully gave Janelle and Mary the courage to say, you know what, we can break away too, and on our terms. Christine didn't hold back about her unhappiness with the family arrangement, and perhaps that transparency emboldened the others. But in the end, Christine's financial deals with Cody appear separate from Janelle and Mary's new arrangement. One major unknown is the timeline. The official documents have been trickling out for months, yet the signatories were apparently dealing with them as early as last year. Some even rumored to go back further. The phrase, dragging their feet, keeps popping up, reinforcing the belief that Cody and Robin tried every tactic to delay finalizing these deeds. But once attorneys got serious, it was game over. If the wives could show that these payments came out of a communal bank account, then legally, it's not just Cody's property to do with as he pleases. That's the entire crux of the matter. Communal funds equal communal property, and communal property equals the wives get their shares. Cody's meltdown about being betrayed is said to be epic. Gossip suggests he ranted about how Janelle and Mary don't deserve that much, or that they're bleeding him dry. This directly conflicts with his earlier statements, promising that he'd never try to cheat them, and that they would get what they were owed. The cynics among us say Cody never intended to keep his word, and that his repeated pledges of fair play were simply a strategy to keep them at bay until they gave up. But far from giving up, Janelle and Mary doubled down. Now, you might ask, how much money are we even talking about? While official numbers remain elusive, Coyote Pass was purchased for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Add in any appreciation over the years, plus the money poured into taxes, surveys, and other fees, and the figure could be substantial. If the land's market value has soared in the last few years, Janelle and Mary could be eyeing a tidy sum if they manage to sell. And if the show continues, or more spin-offs occur, the drama around Coyote Pass might provide storylines for a long time to come. Ironically, the unity between Janelle and Mary at this stage is quite touching. They had a rocky past. Mary was Cody's first wife, and Janelle joined the family later, leading to well-known tensions. But adversity can create strange alliances. Both ended up in a position where they felt pushed aside by Cody, who was lavishing attention and resources on Robin. By joining forces, they got exactly what they wanted, a fair share of what they'd invested. Some fans even wonder if the bond they've forged will continue beyond finances. Could we see them combining forces in future endeavors, or perhaps living near each other, far away from Cody and Robin's drama? Robin, meanwhile, is rumored to be furious. She apparently believed that as Cody's only legal wife, she had a special claim over the property. But that notion crumbled once attorneys made it clear that any illusions of being the rightful co-owner or having priority weren't going to hold up if the funds truly came from a communal pot. Some watchers claim Robin's reluctance to let go might also stem from the hefty mortgage on her own $1 million home. She may have counted on Coyote Pass for future expansions or to bolster her and Cody's wealth in the long run. If it's sold off now, or if the money is split evenly, that vision disappears. One detail causing debate is whether Janelle and Mary took lumps of cash directly, or if they're still in the process of finalizing how they'll extract their equity. The record seems to indicate a shift in deed ownership, but not a direct sale. That means they might still put those plots on the market, or they might negotiate a buyout with Cody and Robin, at least for the lots that remain partially co-owned with them. If and when that happens, the sums could reach 6 figures for each. That's not chump change, especially for two women who might want to start fresh. Then we have the big question. Does this all suggest an end to Sister Wives as a show? If Janelle and Mary no longer have property or financial ties to Cody, the premise of one big polygamist family might be fully dissolved. The show can't revolve around just Cody and Robin in a half-empty nest. Some guess that the final episodes featuring Coyote Pass drama might be the last hurrah. Others note that fans can't get enough of these Brown family twists. So maybe the network will pivot to a new format, focusing on how each ex-wife navigates her single life or new relationships. Mary has her bed and breakfast, Janelle has her newly expanded horizons, and Christine's off living a new life entirely. The property fiasco might be the final push that tells the world the Brown family, at least the polygamous version we knew, is finished. You can't keep a show about plural marriage afloat when nearly all the wives have left. Regardless, the fanbase is enthralled, hungry for every detail about who ended up with what and how. And let's be honest, Janelle and Mary winning big at Cody's expense is the kind of closure viewers have craved for ages. In the wake of all this, each of the wives has her own path. Janelle is rumored to be fully relocating to a new area, possibly with children who likewise parted ways from Cody. Mary is known for forging ahead on her own path, focusing on her in- and personal growth. Cody and Robin, for their part, seem to be dealing with internal frustration. The meltdown behind the scenes, once they realized they had to cede property control, must have been explosive. Robin especially might feel singled out, as so many fans already cast her as the villain who orchestrated behind Cody's back to keep everything in their name. But with the legal outcome on the record, the villain's plan is thwarted. Everyone's claiming victory for Janelle and Mary. What about Christine, you ask? Even though she's out of the direct Coyote Pass equation, her legal approach to child support and custody likely served as an example. She was the first to show that you could stand up to Cody, legally and personally, and come out okay. The effect of that might have empowered Janelle and Mary to follow suit. Once Christine proved that Cody wasn't invincible, the ball started rolling for the others. Now, all three of them have essentially freed themselves from the complicated web that is Cody Brown's polygamist kingdom. It's also worth noting that some fans suspect a behind-the-scenes settlement included hush clauses, like, "We'll pay you your share if you don't go public about certain misdeeds." But so far, we haven't seen official proof. We only see that the property is now partially in Janelle's and Mary's names. If a hush clause exists, it's not stopping them from celebrating, nor is it stopping the news from leaking. But you know what? The biggest takeaway is that Janelle and Mary's combined determination overcame Cody and Robin's apparent efforts to keep a stranglehold on the land. For a long time, watchers wondered if Janelle would remain financially entangled forever, or if Mary would end up regretful and shortchanged. Now it's official. They're not only free from the illusions of polygamous unity, but they also have tangible property claims, potentially big money, depending on how they cash out. So yes, Janelle and Mary Brown truly did win big. They shattered Cody and Robin's financial claims, forcing an equitable split that seemed impossible just a year ago. It's a triumphant moment that signals the end of the old sister-wives dynamic, and possibly the end of the entire show as we knew it. Because let's face it, the premise collapses without the wives. At this point, the only question is how soon the land will go on the market, and for how much. Will Cody and Robin keep their share, or do they realize the property is now worthless to them without the rest of the family? And how will viewers react to seeing Cody publicly lose what he once bragged about controlling? That is the juiciest part. The story's not finished. Either we're headed for a new spin-off, or we're about to watch the final unraveling on the next season of Sister Wives. Whatever happens, you can bet Janelle and Mary's supporters will be cheering them on. This is the day so many fans hoped would come, the day the other wives get out from under Cody's shadow and take their rightful shares. Finally, no more living under illusions that the family account belongs solely to Cody and whichever wife he's favoring. What do you think? Are you thrilled to see Janelle and Mary get their big payday? Or do you think they should have fought even harder for a bigger piece of the pie? Drop your thoughts below, because I'd love to hear your take on this stunning turn of events. And if you found this deep dive worthwhile, do me a favor and smash that like button. It's your best way to support this channel. Also, remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update on any Sister Wives meltdown or behind-the-scenes bombshell. Finally, don't go anywhere just yet. The next video on your screen takes you even deeper into the Brown family's secrets you never knew existed, and you absolutely won't want to miss it. Go ahead and click. It's about to get even more scandalous. See you there.